When Adrian got a terminal cancer misdiagnosis, he chose to spend whatever time he had with his true love. Blurb: the instant I learned the fatal diagnosis had been a misdiagnosis, relief flooded through me. I rushed home to share the good news only for Adrian to hand me a freshly printed divorce petition. I've settled for you my entire life. Now that I have 3 months left, I want to spend them with the woman I really love. Grant me my last wish. I stared at the clause stating he would walk away penniless. 3 seconds of hesitation, that was all. Let's divorce. Grant me my last wish. Adrian pushed the papers toward me, voice calm, eyes serious. I stood motionless. Finally I managed. Your true love, what does that even mean? Today he wore a white linen shirt and khakis. At 30 plus he still looked every inch the elegant Riverdale University professor. He lowered his head. There's no point hiding it anymore. My countdown has started. In our 3rd year of marriage I met a girl, one of my students. We talked about books, about everything. We were on the same wavelength. A total contrast to the daily grind conversations you and I have. She understood my soul. I fell for her, but I was already married. Out of duty and because she felt guilty toward you we broke it off. His tone stayed level. Yet a faraway note crept in when he spoke of her. The faintest smile curved his mouth, one he probably didn't notice himself. All these years we stayed friends, never crossing any line. We'd meet for coffee and discuss poetry, life, philosophy. He lifted his gaze to me. Only with her do I feel alive. Complete and shackled from grocery lists and kids we never had. She's my muse, my soulmate. Our bond is an accident the mundane world calls a mistake, our regret. I listened, unmoving, then tugged one corner of my mouth. Pretty speech. A sow in a silk bra, one layer of nonsense after another. Adrian blinked, ears flaming as if I'd slapped him. Vulgar. You can't match her grace. Your ignorance suffocates me. Marrying you was like tethering a thoroughbred to a plow. Sorry, should I apologize? I stepped closer. Professor Vance, if you wrap cheating in artsy paper, does the world applaud? A flicker of embarrassment crossed his face, but resolve hardened again. I am filing. I refuse to die with regrets. He nudged the petition. I skimmed the irretrievable breakdown box, then the line where Adrian agreed to walk away penniless. He lifted his chin with noble generosity. Worldly things mean nothing to a dying man. Consider it compensation. I snorted, feeling the folded misdiagnosis report in my pocket. The next moment I signed with a flourish. Fine, off you go to chase your soulmate and higher truths. These vulgar houses, accounts, and mutual funds? I'll just have to endure them alone. Adrian hadn't expected me to agree so fast. He stared at the signed pages. While he stood there, I marched to the bedroom, yanked his clothes from the closet, and stuffed 2 fat suitcases. You're that eager to throw me out, Serena? I shot him a look. Wouldn't want to slow your spiritual quest. Everything you wear is in here. Your book's my treat. Tomorrow via cash on delivery. Text me the address. Don't forget to sign. A light bulb seemed to click above Emery's head. I see, you've been waiting to dump me ever since the terminal diagnosis. He donned an air of lofty pity. This is why I've suffered all these years. Our union was a mistake. You're money-grubbing, vulgar, obsessed with dollars and drudgery. Life with you is wasted breath. His expression turned dreamy. Again, but life shouldn't be that way. Juliet says living is like watching a gentle snowfall. Spring light and clarity, romance in every breath. My eye twitched. I cut him off. He finished? U.S. mere mortals can't stomach adulterous love poems. Grab your things, get out. His gold rim glasses glinted coldly as he regarded me like a stain on his sacred temple. He opened his mouth, then his phone rang. The scorn in his eyes melted into softness. From the tinny speaker drifted a woman's cooing, no doubt Juliet. Whatever she said made him smile with a tenderness he'd never shown me. Voice dropping to velvet. I'd thought married life was supposed to be steady, quiet. Now I knew ours had been broken long ago. Emery left. Sunlight filled the suddenly wide-open rooms. On the balcony the plants swayed. Birds flickered past the window. Everything looked exactly the same, yet nothing ever would again. Nothing in the world shifted just because one person walked out of it. I thought I would collapse into sobs, tear my hair out, lose my mind, but I didn't. The epiphany arrived that fast. In a handful of hours I catapulted from wild elation to shock, from fury to stillness, and now impossibly something close to light-footed relief. A man like that? Good riddance. I was not only divorced. He had volunteered to walk away penniless, might as well have been promoted, won the lottery, and watched the old husband die all in one stroke. Oh, right, almost forgot. I patted the pocket holding Emery's misdiagnosis letter. My husband wasn't going to die. He was simply rolling, smooth and round, out of my life in a different form. Once the dust settled, the one thing that scared me was the chance Emery might change his mind. Life without him felt delicious. I had grown up inside a very traditional household, conservative parents, conservative lessons, and spent the first half of my life coloring inside every line. They taught me that each age came with its own must-do tasks, so the minute my post-college job felt stable, I married Emery, the man my hometown relatives introduced to me. Back then my parents adored him, a literature professor at the local university, handsome, respectable, comfortably middle class. They pushed hard for the marriage, and I decided Emery was probably a solid choice, so half-dazed I said yes. We never even discussed love. We simply reached the season when society expected us to pick someone, and we picked each other. I never saw the omission as a flaw. My parents had done the same, introduced, married, produced me, trudged on, and I assumed ordinary love looked exactly like that. Just when I believed the rest of my days would glide past in that calm groove, Emery was told he had terminal cancer. The sky caved in over me. I mistook the crush for heartbreak over my husband. But after the divorce I realized it had only been terror of an approaching upheaval I couldn't control. Then came the news that the terminal cancer was a misdiagnosis. And euphoria knocked the breath out of me. Life snapped back onto its proper track, or so I thought. Yet now that my existence has veered completely off that familiar rail, I feel no panic, only release. I inventoried the assets Emery and I had accumulated, more than enough for a comfortable, easy future. During the divorce waiting period, I learned how to enjoy myself. I took my saved-up vacation days and traveled to places I'd always dreamed about: ancient towns in Yunnan, the grasslands of Inner Mongolia, the windy deserts of the Northwest, utterly untethered from the role of wife, light and free. Mid-trip I accidentally stumbled across Emery's short videos and onto his Juliet. The woman on screen looked under 30, pretty, long curls loosely scooped at her cheeks, dimples flickering when she smiled. So her name was Juliet. Every clip on Juliet's channel, captions, visuals, editing breathed artsy serenity. She posted sparingly, at first just her alone, sharing favorite literary passages. Soon a man appeared beside her, the two of them trading different takes on the books they loved. On camera Emery hadn't changed, soft cashmere sweater, wire-rimmed glasses giving him that refined, ascetic glow. Talking about love, he waxed sentimental. Love is utterly unreasonable. When it hits, no one can resist. Even social chains and shackles can't stop its inevitable arrival. While speaking he gazed tenderly at Juliet, affection spilling everywhere. Juliet lowered her eyes, loose strands brushing her now pink cheeks. I opened the comment section row after row of I'm dead from sweetness, fairy tale romance. My God, look at this perfect match of talent and beauty. Literary people fall in love and even their happiness sounds poetic. I read every line and felt absolutely no pain. Watching him pour tenderness over someone else, I finally knew for sure I had never loved him either. I smiled, relieved, and turned off my phone. When the cooling off period ended, Emery and I picked up our divorce certificate at City Hall. Juliet hovered beside him, eyes wary as if she expected me to explode. I stayed calm, cheerful, even. Emery delivered his usual lecture: our union was a mistake from the start. Now everything returns to its rightful path. I hope you find your own happiness. I smiled, waving the fresh divorce papers. Jordan, I will just not by cheating on a spouse. I spun away and never looked back. At home I double-checked that every property transfer was complete. Then mailed the cancer misdiagnosis notice to Emery's new address. I assumed we'd finish this civilly and stay out of each other's lanes. Turns out Emery's and Juliet's morals can limbo far lower than I imagined. Colleague messaged me a link: Juliet's channel live streaming. On screen the two wore matching couple outfits, he, suave and scholarly, she, gentle and fresh, picture perfect. Their words, though, were anything but respectable. Emery spoke to the camera without hesitation. Yes, I'm divorced. When you're young you mistake compatibility for love and rush into marriage. Day after day my ex-wife and I lived a template life. Open your eyes. And it's nothing but daily grind, mortgages, aging parents, Casey, office gossip. I wanted to talk about the literature I adore: Camus, Shakespeare, Taggart, but she only blinked, unable to meet me on those ideas. We turned existence into something mediocre and dull, a pebble with no shine, until Juliet appeared and my world burst into color. He looked dotingly at Juliet. She answered with a precisely timed shy smile. The chat stream scrolled so fast that half the people seemed to be cheering for this fairy tale romance. With Juliet I can talk about poetry, philosophy, the meaning of life. Our minds are on the same frequency, our tastes mirror each other. Only with her do I feel I'm actually living, not merely surviving. After I divorced my ex-wife I finally exhaled. No more stale daily chores, no more narrow, vulgar wife, no more endless pressure about when we'd start trying for a baby. When I read that, I froze. Casey and I had tried for a long time, but nothing happened. One hospital visit later we learned his sperm viability was shockingly low. Natural conception was almost impossible. On both parents' advice we decided on IVF. Yet he was the infertile one, I was the one bruised by hormone shots. And I would be the one enduring the pain, terror, and permanent bodily damage of childbirth. So by what right does this man, who would reap all the rewards, sit there playing victim? All these years I had maintained our home inside and out, cared for both sets of parents. And in his eyes it condensed into one phrase, narrow and vulgar. Fury surged. My fingers flicked across the keyboard, a man who cheated inside the marriage. Where does he get the gall to? Paint himself as the injured party? Can a dab of literature and art cover the fact that you two are simply a scumbag and bitch duo? Among the sea of so perfect, genius beauty, talented guy, pretty girl, my question stuck out like a spear. The barrage seemed to hesitate, then rolled even faster. I smiled at the screen and typed, Emery, did you receive the follow-up appointment letter I sent you? One stone can whip up 1,000 waves, discordant voices multiplied. Guess I'm not the only one who finds this couple weird. Fine, flaunt your love, but why trash the ex-wife? Right, and he's a professor? Such poor taste. Your romance is life, our daily grind isn't? That condescension is cringe. When ordinary life gets labeled vulgar and money-grubbing, I can't. Have these two drama kings never eaten solid food or used a toilet? Get off your high horse. Wait, the point cheating while married? What does that mean? Who cheated? Can't you see? The dude stepping on his ex-wife to build his own persona, and now the ex-wife has come knocking. Follow-up. What follow-up? I'm a melon seed hopping monkey. In this field of gossip. Questions kept coming. Emery and Juliet's faces turned visibly frantic. Emery cleared his throat and picked a harmless-looking comment. About the follow-up, let me answer here. A month ago I was diagnosed with cancer terminal. His eyes dimmed. The doctor gave me 3 months, so my ex-wife divorced me. I'm grateful to Juliet. She took me in despite my death sentence. She's pure, her romantic spirit my cure. With her I'll spend my remaining days happier than ever. Oh my god, oh my god. So it's stand by your man devotion, my heart. Huh, then the ex-wife does seem harsh abandoning a dying husband. All one-sided. I swear this guy's spinning a tale. Tons of words, still no reply about the cheating. The chat lurched faster, a total mess. I was about to type again when the system popped. You have been removed from the live stream. Inside, Emery kept chatting, the pair regaining calm elegance. Juliet's voice was honey as she clasped his hand. Spouses are birds in the same tree. When disaster hits, they fly apart, but I believe love conquers all. Even if only one day remains, I choose to love you. Holy crap, I felt sick. I angrily verified my short video account ID, Emery ex-wife, profile picked the two of us side by side. Fueled wholly by rage, I launched my first live stream. Though it was my debut, the platform pushed me to everyone following them. Once the room filled, I began recounting my story with Emery. Regarding the slander my ex-husband and his current partner Juliet spread about me online, here are the facts. Professor Emery, my dear ex-husband convinced you had terminal cancer. And 3 months left, you wanted your final days with your soulmate. I gladly agreed and stepped aside. How did that become me dumping a gravely ill man? You personally admitted that in our 3rd year of marriage you were already cheating with your then student. Why deny it now in public? For years I juggled every household chore while you played the cultured professor. Your refinement, your poetry, your dignity were all propped up by my invisible labor. You saw only my vulgar pettiness, never the weight I carried. Your elegance was built on my mess. While you and Juliet discussed Levi and Kant, I was home washing your underwear and socks. Your dress shirts don't launder themselves. Your bookshelves gather dust like anyone else's. Does my lack of literary quotes cancel every sacrifice? I stared straight into the lens. Divorce was your idea. I merely said yes and let you chase true love. I thought we could part kindly. I never mentioned your cheating, never badmouthed you. Emery, did you assume an uneducated housewife was easy prey? Viewer numbers rocketed, the comment section exploded. Oh my god, I just scrolled past the actual person. So that Emery was cheating while married? I'm dead, everyone gushing. About their fairy tale love, come out and take 2 steps. I told you not to simp for men just because they're professors. Some look scholarly but are just beasts in tweed. Sweet heaven, who on earth still falls for these fake refined guys? My phone buzzed. I picked it up. Emery calling. In front of tens of thousands in the live stream, I hit speaker. Emery's furious voice blasted through the room. In all our years of marriage, Emery rarely let his emotions show. Whenever we clashed with strangers over a restaurant table, I was always the one arguing while he stood aside, embarrassed. When neighbors squabbled, I handled it. He clung to his dignity. I raged and hustled for daily survival. He hid behind me, aloof and quick to judge, petty, vulgar, a disgrace. Watching him lose control now, I felt an almost wicked satisfaction. Serena, what the hell do you think you're doing? I answered lazily, nothing much. Since you've been spreading lies about me online, I'm simply setting the record straight to protect my reputation. Any problem with that? His breathing was ragged. Through the phone I could faintly hear a woman sobbing. Emery, instead of yelling at me, why don't you open the follow-up report I mailed you? I hung up without another word. Truth be told, I couldn't wait to see his face when he realized he was never terminal at all. More viewers kept flooding the live stream. I smiled. I'll take full responsibility for every word I say here and welcome everyone's scrutiny. Emery claimed he wanted to spend his last 3 months with his true soulmate. I merely granted his wish. Yet somehow I've become, in his words, the wife who bled him dry. Ridiculous. I wished us an amicable parting, but if he insists on rewriting history, I won't sit idle. Moments after I ended the stream, Emery's long silent WhatsApp chat popped up, a photo of the new pathology report. Underneath he typed, "Serena, what is this?" The next second my phone rang again. "Serena. Explain this instant." His voice quivered on the edge of collapse. The exhilaration shot straight to my head. "It means you never had cancer. The first result was a misdiagnosis. Why didn't you tell me?" He panted. "How could you be so vicious?" I said, unhurried. "Oh, that day I came home planning to share the good news, but you were in a hurry to divorce me. I got distracted, heartbroken, and simply forgot." "Serena, you did it on purpose? You knew I wasn't dying yet kept quiet, tricked me into walking away penniless and grabbed everything." Emery, revisionist games now? You asked for the divorce, you volunteered to walk away penniless, you chased your true love, I only obeyed. I mailed the new report ages ago and reminded you more than once, you were too busy cuddling in paradise to look. That's my fault? All these years I pulled my weight in this marriage. Even without grand passion, we kept each other afloat. If you want your soulmate, fine, but who knew the illustrious Professor Emery would publicly slander his ex-wife after the split? Character truly reveals itself at the exit. Heavy, ragged breaths echoed. The man who prized dignity above all, who shrank from conflict and could never argue, was speechless. "Just you wait." He snarled and slammed the call dead. The next morning, a local headline surged to the top. Wife-husband's terminal misdiagnosis lured him into walking away penniless. My phone exploded. Classmates, colleagues, distant relatives, even my parents back home. On their short video channel, Emery and Juliet posted a tear-stained expose, accusing me of hiding the truth to steal Emery's assets. On screen they looked the perfect match, indignation etched believably across their faces. Juliet already had a solid followers base, with reposts by clickbait accounts plus purchased promotion. The clip trended locally. Someone doxed me, strangers rang non-stop, texts spewed insults. My verified account drowned in abuse and wild rumors. It was hard to imagine how low people could stoop. Alas, this vulgar, money-grubbing woman had no intention of swallowing it. I screen-captured every slanderous comment and locked the evidence. Then, on my own channel, I dropped a counter video titled Sam, a letter to my ex-husband, Emery. It opened with home security footage. Emery sits in our living room, serene as a monk, admitting he cheated during our 3rd year of marriage. The resolution is grainy, yet every word is crisp. His counterfeit pity, his self-righteous tenderness, his lofty tone. Regarding my marriage to Emery and our divorce, please don't swallow a cheater's one-sided story. Point 1. Emery cheated while married, beginning in year 3, falling for his then-student, now his partner, the famous influencer. Second, the terminal cancer diagnosis was indeed a misdiagnosis, and I had mailed him the correction weeks earlier. There was no intentional deception. He simply grew tired of having a dull, money-grubbing wife and decided to walk out. Third, putting aside whether Emery was ever terminally ill. A man who cheats during marriage, scorns his wife's years of effort and sacrifice, belittles a woman's equal place in the home, and barely shoulders a husband's responsibilities deserves to walk away penniless. Fourth, the divorce agreement was signed freely by both sides, and the property clause was Emery's idea. He's the one who thought he had 3 months to live, wanted to drop everything, and chase his soulmate. The cancer wasn't what ended our marriage, his wandering heart was. Fifth, Emery, the only reason you're rewriting history is that you've discovered you're not dying after all and now regret signing away every cent. What happened to your refinement, your true love, your art, your delusions of grandeur? Finally, I carried zero blame in this marriage. You couldn't stand my vulgar, money-grubbing ways. Looking back, I couldn't stomach your fake refinement either. We called it quits, and I'm thrilled. Very own answers for the choices they make, dying or not. Riding the wave of the trending story, my response as the party involved rocketed up the charts, and public opinion flipped overnight. Holy crap. Pretentious guys who hide behind lit and art to duck family duties are the worst. Leech off their wives and then trash them. A cheater's never a saint. Of course I side with the blameless wife. Wait, dude thought he had terminal cancer, got love brain, signed away everything to chase true love, and it turned out to be a false alarm? Don't insult love brain, we don't call cheating love. LMAO, now he can't die and he's broke. Serves him right, go spoon feed each other poetry, lovebirds. I let the uproar simmer, then cut the travel footage I'd shot during the divorce waiting period into a vlog and posted it on my channel. Nothing like the boring stick in the mud Emery described. I felt limitless freedom once the papers were signed. I saw my life didn't have to end at the kitchen sink. There were roads, skies, choices. Outcry swelled, and Adrian and Juliet reaped what they sowed. The scandal stayed hot locally, even Riverdale University buzzed. Overnight, the once revered Professor Emery became the campus pariah, greeted everywhere by colleagues and students pointing and whispering. The administration placed him on suspension, and the man who had prized dignity for decades was abruptly cancelled and publicly shamed. Juliet's comeuppance was even sweeter. She had milked Emery's illness for pity, opening a donation link to siphon cash from followers and random sympathizers. In fact, she had known about the misdiagnosis for weeks. Her plan was for Emery to snag half the marital assets, and once they were legally wed, she'd tell him the truth. She never expected him to get cinematic and walk away penniless. Furious but pragmatic, Emery was still a tenured professor with a steady salary, and their joint couple account could mint money. She swallowed her rage, kept the donation link live, stocked her merch shelf, and raked it in. A goddess of art and purity on the surface, she was counting cash until her wrists ached. Once the storm broke, Emery was benched and Juliet's short video career cratered. Netizens, armchair detectives extraordinaire, exhumed her old scam, sketchy diet pills, dodgy cosmetics until her name was mud. She bled followers daily while her live streams drowned in jeers. Snippets of their misery filtered back to me. As punchlines, I kept my routines: work, life, weekend trips to wider horizons, sharing snippets online. Too busy licking their wounds, Adrian and Juliet left me in peace. Half a year later, I was grabbing coffee when Emery barged in wearing a delivery uniform, sweat-soaked, to pick up an order. Our eyes locked, he froze, then flushed crimson. The ill-fitting polyester clung to him, his once immaculate hair plastered to his forehead. 6 months had aged him 10 years, his shoulders folded inward. Turns out literature and romance can't pay rent. Everyone's ordinary when the bills arrive. He bolted without a second glance. I collected my latte and stepped outside. 6 months ago, life played a cruel joke. I thought it was Armageddon. Now I see it was a gift. Proof that independence and freedom are a woman's true north. The end. Thanks for listening. If you liked the story, give it a thumbs up and share. We'd love your take in the comment section. Don't forget to subscribe for more tales. See you next time.